Okay, hi everybody. Thank you for joining me again. Just a quickie 5 minute little product review, I guess we can call it, of the items I'm gonna use for the upcoming little things I'm gonna build around the diamond reel. And I'll try and keep it short, but there are some interesting little items here I wanted to share. And maybe it's items you don't find normally in the hobby world, but I came across them and I definitely want to share them. And I think, for me, anyways, they were pretty neat. Might be an improvement or something you want to look into and apply on your models. And apparently, they would work on either your big rigs or your racing vehicles or your just regular street vehicles, your models, 125th scale, 124th. Probably wouldn't work on anything smaller like 135. But here you go. My diamond reel was missing its air tank, its air reservoir tanks. Like we all know, it was missing a lot of stuff. So rather than grabbing a pile out of my parts bin from other big rigs, I decided to make my own out of turn brass. Okay, so I went in and I turned some nice solid brass rod into air tanks. I soldered some straps on there and drilled holes on the end for my airlines to go into. Now I did too, as you can see. And the airlines I'm going to use is something interesting I wanted to share with you guys. I actually found some flexible aluminum wire that's perfect for 124th, 125th scale. But it comes in different diameters, so that you can kind of play with it with different scales. Here it is. Okay, that's aluminum. It's flexible. It's got nice weight to it, and it's anodized in blue color. Okay. Now it's a product that I found at a Japanese discount store. I think it's called Daiso, Daiso, and I can't find it anywhere else. The labels, as a matter of fact, here you go. Different diameters, different colors, but unfortunately, the labels are all in Japanese. So I'm going to go ahead and give you some shots of that. Maybe you can Google and find it on your own, some in whatever part of the country you happen to be in. So maybe some of our Japanese friends that are watching, hopefully, can let us know how to get access to this stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and film it real slow so you guys can do a screenshot if you're interested. But there's the name of the stores, Daiso in red. It's like a small little Japanese discount store chain that we happen to have out here in Orange County, California. Not too many of them around, but the ones that are around, you'll get lost in there, and everything in there is dirt cheap. I'm going to use the blue, anodized blue line for my air tanks to match the color of my metallic dark blue differentials and the color scheme I'm going to go with on the diamond reel. The tanks will be painted in that deep metallic blue, same as the differentials. The straps will be painted black and attached to the frame and connected with plumbing in this blue anodized wire. So that's something, if you guys are interested, definitely look into, because I really am tickled pink I got that stuff here. Another thing I did on the diamond reel is I did shave off the door handles. Went ahead and filled in and sanded them smooth. And I'm going to stick these photo etch Kenworth type door handles that will go on the corner here of my cab door, like a modern rig. Let's say it's a modern setup that I had custom made, because at my age I was just too tired to climb up all the way up the steps to reach the door handle. So I had them move down to that corner like the modern rigs do today. Another little thing I wanted to share with you was the engine I'm going to go with on this particular model. All the way from the beginning, I kind of had my mindset on the Detroit diesel. Big fan of the sound. I just love Detroit diesels. And I remember that sound on my school buses ever since I was a tiny little kid. It's a sound that I knew was totally different from any other rig running on the road, and it would spew tons of smoke, but for whatever reason I loved it. But here we go. It's a resin kit. I believe it's a V12. I may be wrong. I'll let you know right now. And actually, I have the paperwork right here. But anyways, this is going to be a project in itself. And this is how they come. A lot of parts to sand, to get rid of the flash. And that's how they'll look like when they're done. Option of with or without a turbo. I'm going to go with whatever option I can shoehorn into the hood, under the hood, whatever fits good without too much modifications. Another thing I wanted to share with you guys, definitely, is my truck was also missing shock absorbers. Going by the drawings on my Freightliner cab over, it might take one or two or a few shock absorbers. So I'm gonna go ahead and make mine out of metal. I'll put a spring in here. Well, I'm holding the camera with one hand, but let me cheat here. I'm gonna put a spring in here, solder it closed, solder it to the right height, and it'll be a working shock absorber. I'm gonna put a real stiff spring, so it would take quite an effort to make it go down a little bit, just to show off for friends and stuff. But the purpose is not for it to go up and down on the model. I want the model as stiff and as firm as possible, but I want to be able to show off little things too. So we'll have our metal shock absorbers, metal air reservoir tanks, metal air lines, the metal I've already put on the model. It's going to be a nice heavy model, and now you know why I beefed up and went with a metal frame. Also, what I'm going to do, well, I'll show you this right now. I'm now done with the cab interior, the cab tub of the Diamond Reel project. This is a little mini project in itself. I had to put little stainless steel pedals, because this was missing the pedals, pretty much missing everything. I went with the bucket seats. I added those steering balls, whatever they're called. I went ahead and put them on the dash and on the steering wheel. My own stick gear selector, custom made just for me. And people are going to say, wow, that's pretty cool. You even got the little priority mail package sitting on the front passenger seat. Well, before you guys give me too much credit, I drilled out the bottom of the seats and put big solid metal rods in order to lift the seat height, the appropriate height for the inside of the cab. And I wanted to use brass for the weight and for the sturdiness of it. You can kind of see little holes kind of at those points right there. But in doing so, my drill went through the bottom of that seat right there. I had a big giant hole right down the middle there. Almost looked like a toilet. So I'm running around here the shop like if my head's on fire. Then I run down the street like a nut job, like my head's on fire. I go back on eBay and I remember they sell these little parcel. You put it together. It's made out of like a cardstock, and you get these little parcel packages, different ones. And I'm on my way down to the post office to ship out a package I sold on eBay. I'm just gonna go in my rig, but gives it a lot of look, gives it a lot of personality, brings it to the modern times, which is what I'm trying to do, because that's not something you would have found back on the 70s. There was no Priority Mail Express back then. But that's all done. I love working on these cab interiors. They're little projects in themselves. This is my Freightliner, my cab over Freightliner cab interior. Okay. Also went with bucket seats, a more modern steering wheel. I've added a new gear selector since mine was missing. Just a lot of fun. Went ahead and painted and detailed that back bunk. Removed the curtain in the middle that had the big C on it. Explained in my earlier video that was an incorrect option for the standard Freightliner. That was only for the custom Brom editions, from what someone explained on YouTube. But there you go. What I did do for the Freightliner and I'm going to do for the Diamond Rio is I added the CB radial on the overhang. So I made my own CB radial. Let me see, there you go. Coiled wire, painted it black, and then I'm going to add one on the roof of my Diamond Rio also. One final thing on the cab interior and actually on the video is I found photo etch seatbelts for my bucket seats. I'm going to use them on the Freightliner project and on the Diamond Rio. And this is what I found. Generic Japanese seatbelts and rudder pedals from World War II and 1/48 scale for Japanese aircraft models. Perfect size, width for our projects here. I went to a friend's yard sale and I'm poking around all his junk. He called me up, said he had a bunch of neat stuff, and I'm poking around, and lo and behold, I'd never thought I'd find these. I found 2 packs of this. I never thought I would find these at a yard sale, but there you go. I think I paid $2 for both, and that's enough to do. That's enough to do about 8 rigs right there. 4 rigs if you do seatbelts for the passenger. And I got 2 packs of these. So keep your eyes open, all the neat stuff that's out there. Keep your eyes open for maybe some ideas you can get from my stuff here. Thank you for joining me. And you guys take care. Just a little quick update and review of some interesting projects that are available out there for the hobby, for our models. And most are not necessarily products made for models, but rather something that can be used on our models. In this particular case, everything I'm showing is perfect for 1/25th or 1/24th scale. Now our Diamond Rio here is just mocked up together. Some stuff white glued, some stuff just loosely put on there, but it kind of gives you an idea of what she's gonna look like. She's sitting a little high right now. She's gonna sit actually a little lower. I was watching my previous video and I had a question of my own video, and that question was, what are those white squares on the frame there behind the tires? What that is I have not glued that bogey onto the frame yet. It's loose, and I'm gonna adjust the height. I wanted to keep the bare styrene bare, so when I find the correct height, I just hit it with a drop of Tamiya extra thin, and it'll it'll adhere to the frame in a minute. If you had the frame painted, the glue doesn't adhere as well. It takes a lot longer, and it sometimes just comes right off. So I definitely wanted bare styrene on styrene for this mod, for the frame anyway, and the suspension components, because it is going to be holding a lot of weight, and I want it to be handled for many years, even after I'm gone, without having any issues of breakage. Okay, pretty much that's what she's going to be. She'll have 2 pipes, 2 exhaust stacks. I don't know if they're going to be the flared off real tall ones or the ones that are cut kind of like short. The plan is this is going to be a heavy equipment hauler, so I don't think I'm going to go with real tall stacks, but I am going to go with custom stacks. I think in real life they're 8-inch or 10-inch. That's what I'm going to go with. Just they're not going to be all that high. Okay, I want to thank you all for joining me tonight, just sharing these things with you, and hopefully that'll help you out too. Also, if you notice, my headache rack sits way too high, so I'm going to cut the frame, drop it down, and to a more correct height. I do have the fuel tanks and the battery boxes, and we'll be adding those probably last. But like I said, the hard part is over. Everything else from here on out is just fun. You guys take care. Have a great evening. Have fun. Have an awesome weekend. and enjoy. And thank you for joining me for my little product review here. All right, that's it. Caden, Keely, I love you guys, and you love on those dogs for me. Bye.